This is Doug DeMuro.
And I am Hoovie's garage.
Yeah, I guess so. And today we are talking about 5 cars that we really want to own, but we haven't yet. This will be hard for you. You've had 400 cars.
I don't have much impulse control, and I have bought everything that I've wanted. But obviously, there's
still more.
There's a ceiling of money that I have not reached yet because
so it's
haven't
only expensive stuff.
Nobody's wanted to invest in my YouTube channel or anything else. So
okay, 5 cars we really want to own but haven't yet. Let's get started. Before I get started, be sure to check out Cars and Bids, which is my enthusiast car auction website for cool cars from the modern era with free listings. You can list your cool car for free and auction it on Cars and Bids. And you should, because we've had some great sales recently, including this Porsche Cayman GTS sold for $71,000. This C8 Corvette sold for $66,000. These are coming down. And this fantastic BMW M3 brought $52,000, the only one made in this color. If you're looking to buy or sell a cool enthusiast car from the modern era, the 1980s and up, Cars and Bids is the place to do it. With daily auctions and great selection, check it out at carsandbids.com. Okay, 5 cars that we really want to own. Look at his smile. He's very satisfied with himself. But we haven't yet. You have had every car. I did this because we actually did a video like this when we were doing these Auto Trader videos like 10 years ago. But since then you've owned 8,300 cars.
I don't know if there were any on the list.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah,
no,
that's great. All right.
But okay, so I'm very curious. I've got my little list.
Okay.
I'm very curious what your list is. Maybe we'll go 1 and 1 and 1. And then I'll tell you why yours are all wrong.
All right. Well.
Okay, so before we start, I am curious. How do you even come up with a list like this, given that you have had so many cars? You just buy.
Well, I can't afford a lot of the cars in my list, and I just haven't got around to a few. But mostly, it is a price ceiling that keeps moving as I get more. Like, okay, I can,
So if you had more money, you would just be you. But still buying stuff, but probably hoopty Gullwings and...
Well, the problem is, if I sold everything and scratched it all together, the Gullwing is certainly on my list and near the top of the list, but then that doesn't make any sense for YouTube because then, what am I doing?
What are you doing, right?
Like, it doesn't make sense financially to buy $1 million car to make YouTube videos that make a few $1,000s
and
each
nobody's really going to care about it. Okay,
exactly,
so start with, on your list here, maybe we should start with did you rank them?
Not really.
Okay, neither did I, because it's hard to...
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got? Give me your first.
So, yeah, the Gullwing, for sure.
You want a Gullwing, not a Roadster.
So, it was reinforced because last year I got invited to the Mille Miglia in Italy, got to drive, all through that.
And that wasn't enough for you? You weren't just like, I got it out of my system?
Oh, no.
You're a Mercedes guy.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The Gullwing is your...
It just drives so nice for its period.
Yeah.
And it's just an iconic car.
It does.
And I've lusted after it literally all my life, and now having some wheel time, whether considerable wheel time with it, I want it even more.
So what do they cost?
Oh, what's the bottom's now $1.5 million-ish for a Gullwing?
You know what's insane? I love the Gullwing. They're not that rare.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, the Roadsters are really common. There's thousands of them.
The Ferrari 550 Maranello is rarer than the 300 SL.
Seriously?
Yes, but I've worded that very carefully because that includes both 300 SL.
Right.
But nonetheless, there are like 3,500 300 SL between the coupes and the convertibles. Mm-hmm. It surprised me it cost so much.
Yeah, but the 550, as great as it is, it
looks like a
C6 Corvette.
My point is more just that like there's a lot of those cars. I'm surprised they're so expensive. But I don't know what you have on your list, but I plan to criticize.
Perfect, okay, yeah.
That one I don't.
I'm used to him criticizing. This is nothing new. Everything I do, every move I make.
No,
yeah.
I think that makes sense. Totally reasonable. Amazing car. I mean, one of the all-time greatest.
Let's pick apart yours. What's the first one?
All right, I'm going to give you one that I think you'll agree with or maybe disagree with. You had one of these. Mark IV Toyota Supra.
Really?
Did you have one of those?
No, I have not had one of those.
You should have.
No, they kind of got priced out of the realm of sanity, where that makes sense maybe for the nicest one in the world, $50,000, and now that's $150,000.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something insane that I'm going to get a lot of hate for. I I kind of want an NA automatic.
Okay.
Because, yeah, the manual turbos are so expensive you don't want to drive them.
Yeah.
But an NA auto, you get the whole look.
So you want everybody to walk up and get all excited about Supra. You know, they pop the hood, there's no turbo, and then they look inside and it's automatic.
The hood.
Excuse me. Oh my God. Oh. Oh.
I would drive this like daily.
Oh, okay.
And I drive it like to the grocery store and stuff. People are like, I saw a Supra today. I make somebody's day.
Is that Supra?
We had an NA auto.
Until they look, you know, it's the same thing as, you know, looking and seeing that it's SMG instead of like a stick M3 or something like that. Yeah.
But simply seeing a Mark IV is a good thing. You're like, whoa,
Okay.
even if it's an NA auto. Simply seeing an E46 M3 is not like, wow, my day is better.
Certainly. Okay. I would rather have a US spec nice NA automatic than some right-hand drive, hooped out, whatever.
The market agrees.
Yeah.
And honestly, even NA auto is not really expensive. A nice NA auto is like a 60K car. So maybe this whole thing, I came up with this idea that I wanted an NA Auto Mark IV when you could get one still for like 20, when like stick turbos were like 120. And I was like, that's such a spread and they look the same. Yeah. And I got fun cars that are more fun than I could drive around. Why not just have an NA Auto to like kind of use as a beater? And now it's kind of out of beater pricing.
You want to be that, because you love going and looking at street parked cars. And so you want to contribute to that, to have like a street parked Supra. Where
like there's a Supra in my block. I want any Mark IV. I really would like a manual turbo, but there's so much money.
Right.
It's hard to justify. But I think it's cool.
That's certainly on my list as well, but it just gets priced out of the realm of sanity. So, I mean, the next one on my list is a 930 turbo.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back. My dad had one. It was one of his first cool cars he ever had. And I'm a kid, and he bought it for like 40 grand with 3,000 original miles on it. And he sold it right before I reached driving age for like 60 grand, which was very smart.
I made 20 grand. Probably
I know.
Genius.
I know. I had a few thousand more miles on it. White with the black leather interior, and the smell, I'll never forget the smell of that car. And whenever I get in a 930 and the smell, it just all comes back. And I haven't had a chance to buy one, even though, I mean, they're still not crazy expensive. They got up a lot, but they're not crazy. I haven't gotten into one yet.
Yeah, they're hard to find. They're hard to find nice. They're cool. They're so cool. It was a special era, and they killed you. That's what everybody said. I've never driven one.
Really?
Have you?
Yes, I have. And I had a 74 Carrera that had a 76 turbo motor swapped in it. It was an old race car. It really wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But it's just when the turbo hits on those, it's just so stupid. I mean, because it's slow. I guess sort of like a Mark IV Supra, but this kicks even harder, and you can see if you are in any kind of turn at all, and it's just immediately looping
Plus,
around.
they look so cool.
Oh, they do look really cool.
And that's one of those if you know cars, because otherwise it's an old Porsche. But to you and me, like when I see a turbo, which is maybe once a year I'll see one randomly, if that, I lose it. It's like, oh my, I can't believe this is on the road. In that vein, 993 turbo on my list.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a Porsche guy, which is funny sitting in front of this car, but I never really have been. Like I've never really had Porsches.
Yeah.
Just really always loved this Porsche. But the 993 turbo, I love that car. They're so amazing. Have you driven one of those?
I have not driven a 993 turbo. No.
They're little, and so they're really tossable in a way that the later cars just don't feel. I mean, honestly, it's a lot of the same benefits of the 930, but it's a little bit more refined. And I just like the slightly more modernized look of the 993s. It's one of my very favorite cars. Arena red was the color in the ad. You remember the kills bugs fast?
yeah.
And I just have always wanted one. And unfortunately, those have gone crazy.
Oh my God, it's knocking on a door of $1 million if it's no
Turbo
miles,
S's,
right?
yeah, Turbo S's and really low mile ones are $1 million. A nice regular turbo is 250, 350, which it's not worth it. A Ford GT for the same money, it's like not even close. But it's a really special car.
Right. I guess, it's weird because my dad had that one, so I kind of liked that era.
Yeah.
And then in my head, the 993 kind of skipped because, in the late 90s when the 996 came out, it was just so, such a big deal, at least I thought.
The 996 turbo, I had one of those. The 996 turbo is an amazing car. However, the 993 just felt like littler and more like throw it around, have fun on a back road, and not just like brute power. Those 996 turbos were just like, it felt like that was a turning point, which it was, air cooled to water cooled and all that stuff. But it really felt like, even from a driving perspective, the 993 turbo was like a little fun, but you can get on it. 996 turbo was like floor it and you're in the next zip code.
Absolutely.
They're both amazing. I loved my 996 turbo. I would love to get a GT2.
That's on my list.
996 GT2?
Yes.
Wow.
I feel like I've had every single 996.
Oh my God, it is on your list.
It is.
I almost put it on my list.
Really? Because
I'm not a Porsche guy though, I swear.
well, so I've had pretty much every other iteration of 996 and ruined most of them. The turbo, wrapped it. I'm doing a Safari with an automatic turbo right now, Safari build. One that was 140,000 miles on it that was used as a Las Vegas
With a
rental.
tip turbo, nice.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's good to make a Safari out of a tip turbo.
Totally.
140,000 miles.
Totally, if you're gonna do it.
I've had the cabs. I've had them all. LS swapped one, obviously. I still have, but the King Daddy GT2, and it's just so special.
So good. Have you driven one?
No.
It is so good. I truly think the 996 GT2, the 993 Turbo are my favorite 911s. I don't know which one I like better. I think the 996 GT2 a little better, but it's raw. Like it's kind of rough. Like suspension's harsh. I thought about buying one, but with this and with the 4GT, I feel like I'm raw card out.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun. So much
someday.
fun.
I feel
They've
like
gotten expensive.
I'm worried. I'm missing the boat for sure.
Definitely. Right before COVID, a couple came up. And they're like 110, 115. And one of my buddies still gives me crap about it now. I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I bought the RS2 instead. And that was a mistake. I definitely should have bought the 996 GT2. Yeah. Kind of fell out of love with the RS2 pretty quickly. And that GT2 I think I'd still own.
So any non-Porsches? I think, we just went through 3 there.
Okay. Here's one that you'll love. Here's one that I like truly meet. It's actually 3 cars, but they're very similar and I think would serve a similar purpose in my life. And they're about to be importable.
Okay.
Fiat Multipla, Audi A2, Mercedes-Benz A-Class. I really want a really nice either Multipla, A2, or A-Class. I feel like I've got too much, like we had this deal closed and I bought this car and I got a car, nice cars. I'm not like a nice car guy. I like weird cars. Like in my heart, what I like is weird, and I don't, except for the G Cab, which is also expensive. I don't have anything like weird right now.
Yeah, you don't have an S-Cargo right now.
Right, that irks me. That like gets at me.
Yeah.
I want an A2.
See, I'm still deep in the muck of hoopties, I guess, so I haven't lost it there with the nice cars. So
Well, you got 599s and SLSs.
I know,
and
but there's still all the junk as well that I just...
I know, and that's the thing. I feel like I went and got the dream cars and I'm thrilled, and I'm not getting rid of them at all, but I do have an extra garage spot at the moment, and I'm sitting here like Multipla is legal. So I got a guy looking for one for me, but they're impossible to find because no one kept them.
Nobody wants to keep
They're
that going.
Trash cars.
And they hated the A-Class too. I mean,
the A-Class was hated. The Audi A2 was hated. All of those cars, but I love them all, and I want one so badly, but a nice one.
And you've never driven any of them?
I drove a Multipla at the Lane Motor Museum.
Oh, okay.
They have one, but I've not driven an A2 or an A-Class. I don't care how they drive. It's more about the concept of which I assume, by the way, is bad.
Right.
It's more about the concept of owning like a weird, cool, interesting
poverty speck of a luxury.
I would like it to be fairly nice. Although the A-Class did have those seats that had all the weird designs, like the original 98 ML. Yeah, I think that would be neat. Don't you?
It would be cool.
You ever think about a Multipla?
Never. This is the first time I thought about one in ever.
Every time I go to Italy, and they're around, people still use them as daily transportation. And I look at them and I'm like, oh. And everybody else just reviles them. I saw an A2 in Mexico a couple months ago, though, and I was like, damn, I need one of those. I would love one of those 3. I just miss a weird car.
Yeah.
Something obscure and unusual that people are like, why did you buy that? And it's like, if you don't know, there's no point in trying to explain it.
Makes sense. Yeah. There's one that's sort of in a wheelhouse I've never gone before, which is pre-war. And I love going to concours and seeing like the blower Bentleys or a Duesenberg. And I feel like I want to experience one of those like Gatsby era where you could go 100 miles an hour in a car from the 20s where like a Model 8 or T was like 50 was screaming.
A blower Bentley or a Duesenberg. You've always been a big old school car kind of dude.
Yes, that old school coach
that's sort of that taken to the finish line.
Right.
A Duesenberg. What do those cost? What is like a kind of one that you would want?
It depends on the body, obviously.
Well, right, but
so like a Roadster or like a dual cal would be $2 or $3 million. So
they're still. So are they still selling for that? Even though the boomers are kind of.
Those are. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The other
Who's
stuff,
buying that?
the other oddball stuff, but Duesenberg. They seem to sell every time they go to the auction.
Yeah, no, they
bring
do.
records.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know who, but it was always a hope, exactly, that inflation would happen and these $1 million cars would just stay $1 million and then it wouldn't seem like much in 20, 30 years.
Right. But that's not what's happened. They have increased.
They have increased.
But I wonder if that will come to call at some point. There's not a lot of younger guys who want to blow our Bentley. There just aren't.
I suppose.
So maybe this will happen.
Maybe.
You've never used that car.
That's the thing. Imagine using it.
You can't use it. Who in Wichita is going to work on your blower Bentley?
The Wizard would love it.
The Wizard is not going to work on a... You're out of your mind.
We'll call him right now.
You can't show up at Wizard's shop in a blower Bentley and be like, hey, man.
He would be
Hey, I know you got my C4 automatic Corvette right now, but can you clear a lift for my blower Bentley?
He would be into it. If I bought him if I brought another mineral oil Bentley from the 70s, 80s, 90s, he would lose his mind.
I noticed in that Azure you had quite a bit of mineral oil in the trunk.
Well, yes, but that's all fixed because the previous owner, he meant to buy a quart and he has a lot of money, so he couldn't tell the difference in the price between a quart and a case. So I have a lifetime supply. It's still sitting on the shelf. But I threw 3 in the trunk just in case. But it's not leaking right now.
No, it's not. And I pressed the little thing and it said...
Let me hit the balsa wood here in the shifter. Okay, knock on wood. All right, good. All right.
Okay, next one, cars I really want to own but haven't yet. F40 is on my list. Are you going to tell me it's cliche?
No, it's one of the greatest cars of all time, obviously.
Yeah. F40.
Obviously.
Admit to the following. The Carrera GT, I've always wanted my entire life. I wanted a Carrera GT since it came out. I was 15. However, when we completed their acquisition of a majority of our business, I went looking for an F40 because it struck me that if I didn't do this now, I probably will never have the chance again in my life. And what I learned is I've already missed it. An F40 is a $2 million car. I couldn't spend that. And I don't see them ever coming down.
There were a couple of big comps recently, for sure.
Yeah. A couple of U.S. cars sold for like 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And rougher Euro cars, there are some weird options people want on F40s that really have an effect on the value. But they are, even ones that have been hit are bringing 2.
Yeah.
And
the weird race car that was at Barrett-Jackson, Scottsdale, where it was $2 million.
Yeah. So that's over. But if I ever had infinite money, F40 would definitely be one of them. Also, I hate to admit this too, because it is one of the greatest cars. But driving this, what do you?
Sorry, I forgot my list. I'm texting somebody. I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure I was queued up for my next list. Sorry. You have the laptop open where you can see automatically.
Done that.
Okay.
Also, I hate to admit this, but driving this car, I kind of don't regret not getting an F40. I think it's not as drivable. You're enclosed, it's hot, it's going to break down all the time.
I haven't driven an F40.
This is so usable by comparison. I take it out all the time, drive it everywhere.
Okay.
F40, I think it would be like, I'm not so sure. I don't know if I want to take it out. Oh, it's a sunny day, I gotta have them sitting in there like sweating. Maybe it's me justifying it to myself, but I think everyone would agree this is like a more usable, it's a Porsche. It's like more reliable, it's newer, et cetera, et cetera.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah, there's still a ton of enormously difficult challenges, but F40 is...
Yeah. Well, my last car, which I was looking at my phone to remember, not I was being rude and just being bored by you, but it was the latest GT350.
Yeah.
So it's just an attainable car. So finally we're not multi-million-dollar things. It's just something I haven't gotten around to yet.
I said Fiat Multipla. Continue. GT350, I totally agree.
I think it's just a fantastic
So
car.
good.
The flat plane crank, the Voodoo, all that stuff. And a manual transmission, back seat for the kids. I just sold off
amazing.
the GT500. I had a 2021 because it was way too much.
Yeah.
Too much. It was way over the top, and I knew that it was going to start depreciating.
Yep.
And the Z06, I stumbled into that, so I just traded in for that for a little more than what I paid for
The
it.
350 is relatively affordable compared to the 500s and the Z06s of the world. It's already depreciated a little because they count like 17, 16, and so like some of them are. It sounds amazing. It's an amazing balance. I find it to be truly one of the greatest cars. Why do you not say ZL1 or some sort of Camaro or a Hellcat even?
Well, Hellcat, obviously, because it doesn't have the driving characteristics of sporting. It's just fun in a straight line. I think between the Camaro and the Mustang is just probably because of the heritage and just the look. I like it better. I think they did a better job of calling back to that heritage and doing something special and unique, I think. And live around the experience, and also it'd be great to match my 66 at home too.
Yeah, I agree. GT350 is a car I've always thought about getting. How come you haven't just gotten one?
Well, I just got rid of the GT500, and then some stuff's happening, so I'm a little.
Do you regret?
Arms tied behind my back at the moment.
Do you regret buying the GT500 instead?
No, it was an opportunity that. For a little under MSRP, which was pretty unheard of at the time, and I got to drive it for a year, and had fun and get out of it, which was perfect.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I have always felt one of the things that has kept me from buying a GT350 is I already have the Ford GT, and I don't want people to think I'm like a Ford guy, which I'm really not. But those two cars, it's like Porsche. I'm not a Porsche guy either, but there's a couple. And I feel that way about the GT350. It's so good. The balance is so good. The sound is so good. I really love those cars. Last car on my list, LM002.
So you want something that's absolutely impossible to own.
Yes.
Where you can't get tires.
Yes.
Where you, it's maintenance level of a Countach except unobtainium everything.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay.
But imagine, that's true.
Yeah.
But imagine driving around in an LM002.
Oh, I don't have to imagine, because there was one following us at the Countach Rally a few years ago, exploding at every stop. I mean, they were bubblegumming it the whole way to keep it going. And then at Monterey, one was on fire outside of our hotel. Yes, so I don't have to imagine.
Fire is something that comes and goes. I think with an I think it'd be so cool. I've kind of been low-key looking for one, so people started coming to me with them.
Oh my.
I got offered one yesterday for $450. And they were like, the guy's just done a big restoration. And I'm like, he shouldn't have. He should have put it in LS. Because I've started to think about this. Like, the Countach V12 is the thing that makes those cars cool, but wouldn't it be nice to just throw in an LS and like use the damn car?
And put the Countach in like on a stand and just
or sell it to Farah,
there you go.
He'll need it one day. I just think that LM002 is talk about obscure, stupid cars that's like king.
For sure.
Like if you want to just out obscure, stupid anyone, you show up in an LM002 and be like, oh, you're Multiplub?
Yeah, your Hummer, your anything. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Kingmaker.
It would be so cool to drive around in that. The only thing that stops me is they're way too expensive. Yeah. Because the guy wants $450 to the one that was offered. It's insane. They're $300,000 cars. That's twice what they should cost.
Right.
They're horrid to drive.
Oh yeah, the quality's really bad too. Yeah, you get up really close on one and it's, oh my God, this is real? This is not a kit car made, is it fake?
It essentially was. At that time, remember one of Lamborghini's owners was an Indonesian company called Megatech. They're not going to be making the nicest stuff. But I want one, and I think it'd be cool. And I would show up at your place and be like, yeah, I got an LM002.
And you'd be bankrupt.
And there you go. Those are the 5 cars we really want to own, but haven't yet. How long do you think it'll be before you buy one of the cars on your list? Here.
It'll be a while.
Couple
unfortunately.
Weeks.
Anyway, stuff.
Who's going to buy one of these cars first, do you think?
You.
Why do you say that?
Because you are, I don't know.
You buy cars every 2 seconds.
I'm more impulsive, but you've just gotten a significant investment.
Right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. God.
What?
What is it like to be you, like on a day-to-day?
I don't know.